Imagine waking up this morning expecting your Social Security payment to arrive, only to open your bank account and find nothing. No deposit, no explanation, just silence. Now imagine calling the Social Security office and being told your benefits were stopped because of a brand new rule you never even knew existed. That's not hypothetical. That is happening to real seniors right now. As of today, a major new rule from the Social Security Administration has officially taken effect, and it changes how benefits are verified, how notices are delivered, and even how the government monitors your financial information. For millions of retirees, this is one of the biggest procedural changes to Social Security in more than a decade. And here's the part that matters most. Under this new system, a single missed email, a delayed response, or an unreported life change could now be enough to pause your monthly payments without warning. That's why this update is so critical. If you're currently receiving Social Security, planning to apply soon, or helping a parent or loved one manage their benefits, what I'm about to explain could directly affect your income starting today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what changed overnight, who is most at risk, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to protect yourself from losing the benefits you've earned. Hi, I'm Susan Harper. I understand how confusing and stressful Social Security changes can feel, especially when the rules seem to shift without clear explanations. My goal today is simple. I'm going to walk you through this new SSA rule step by step in plain and straightforward language, so you understand exactly what it means for you and your retirement. No complicated legal jargon. No unnecessary technical talk. Just clear practical information you can actually use. By the end of this video, you'll know precisely how this rule works, how it could impact your monthly checks, and the specific actions you should take, starting today, to stay protected. As of today, the Social Security Administration has officially put into effect a rule that changes the way benefits are managed for millions of Americans. This is not a proposal. It is not a future plan. It is active right now. The rule was finalized after months of internal review, public comment periods, and legal challenges, and it now directly impacts how your eligibility for benefits is checked and how the SSA communicates with you. For years, Social Security operated on a system that relied mostly on occasional updates and self-reporting from beneficiaries. That system is now gone. The new approach is far more aggressive, far more automated, and far less forgiving of mistakes or delays. The SSA says the goal is to prevent improper payments and protect taxpayer dollars. But for everyday seniors, the result is a brand new layer of responsibility and risk. Under this rule, the burden of proving your eligibility no longer happens only when you first apply for benefits. Instead, it becomes an ongoing year-after-year requirement. Notices that used to arrive by mail may now arrive only by email. Information that used to be checked occasionally will now be monitored continuously. And actions that once resulted in a simple correction could now result in immediate suspension of your monthly check. That's why understanding this change is so critical. It affects how often you must respond to the SSA, how quickly you must act, and even how carefully you need to watch your own financial records. This is not a small administrative update. It is a complete shift in how Social Security operates behind the scenes, and it is built around 3 major changes that every senior needs to understand. The first change is by far the most important because it directly affects every single person receiving benefits. Starting today, the Social Security Administration has implemented mandatory annual verification for all beneficiaries aged 62 and older. In simple terms, once every year, you will now be required to prove that you are still eligible to receive your benefits. In the past, many seniors only heard from Social Security if there was a problem or a major life change. Now, contact from the SSA will become routine and unavoidable. Each year, beneficiaries will receive a formal verification notice requiring them to confirm key information such as income from all sources, living arrangements, marital status, and in some cases, details about assets. This is not optional paperwork. It is not a suggestion. It is a mandatory requirement directly tied to whether your payments continue. And here is what makes this especially serious. When that verification notice arrives, You will have just 30 days to respond. If you fail to provide the requested information within that time frame, the SSA now has the authority to suspend your monthly benefits until you comply. Think about what that really means. Missing a single deadline. Overlooking one notice. Delaying a response because you're traveling, sick, or simply confused. Any one of those could now result in your Social Security check being stopped completely. The agency argues this system is necessary because billions of dollars in improper payments are made every year to people who are no longer eligible or whose circumstances have changed. According to SSA reports, payments sometimes continue to people who have returned to work, who have remarried in situations that affect benefits, or even to beneficiaries who have passed away. From the government's perspective, annual verification is a way to catch those issues faster. But from the perspective of ordinary retirees, it creates a new and very real danger. Seniors who have received benefits for years without any problems will now need to stay constantly alert for verification requests and ready to respond quickly with documents and proof. There is no automatic grace period. There is no assumption that you simply missed the notice. Under this new rule, silence equals non-compliance, and non-compliance can mean no benefits. This single change alone affects nearly every household that depends on Social Security income. But as significant as it is, it's only the first part of the new system. The next change could make responding to these verification notices even more challenging for millions of seniors. The second major change taking effect today involves how the Social Security Administration communicates with you. For decades, most official SSA notices arrive the traditional way. Paper envelopes delivered to your home. That familiar system is now largely disappearing. Under the new rule, Social Security is shifting to what it calls an electronic first communication model. For the majority of beneficiaries, that means important notices, including the new annual verification requests, will no longer be sent through regular postal mail. Instead, they will be delivered electronically, most often through email or through secure messages inside your online Social Security account. On the surface, this may sound like simple modernization, but in reality, it creates serious new risks for many seniors. A large percentage of retirees do not check email regularly. Some use email only occasionally to talk with family. Others created an address years ago and rarely log into it, and many older Americans are simply more comfortable reading paper letters than navigating digital inboxes. Yet under this new system, if the SSA has an email address on file for you, that becomes the primary method of contact. And here is the most important part. The moment Social Security sends an electronic notice, the clock starts ticking. You are considered officially notified the instant that message is sent, whether you actually saw it or not. If you miss the email, overlook it, or never log into your account, that does not stop the 30-day deadline. The responsibility is entirely on you to monitor those digital messages. This expanded monitoring means Social Security is no longer waiting for you to report changes. It is actively searching for them. And if the information they receive from other sources does not perfectly match your records, you are the one who must prove nothing is wrong. When you put these three changes together, annual mandatory verification, electronic first communication, and expanded automated data matching you, begin to see how dramatically different the Social Security landscape has become overnight. For some seniors, these changes may feel like extra paperwork, but for others, especially those with complex financial situations, limited technology skills, or ongoing life changes, this new system introduces real uncertainty and risk. I'll explain exactly which groups of beneficiaries are most likely to be affected, and why certain seniors need to be especially careful under these new rules. While these new rules technically apply to almost everyone receiving Social Security, the reality is that some groups of seniors will feel the impact far more than others. The first group at highest risk is seniors who continue working while collecting benefits. Under long-standing rules, people who claim benefits before reaching full retirement age are limited in how much income they can earn each year. If they go over that limit, part of their Social Security benefit is withheld. That basic rule has not changed. What has changed is how quickly and aggressively the Social Security Administration now enforces it. In the past, most seniors who worked part-time would not hear about an earnings problem until the following year after filing their tax return. The SSA would review the income information, calculate whether too much had been paid, and then request repayment. It was inconvenient, but at least people had time to plan and adjust. Under the new real-time data matching system, the SSA can now see your earnings almost immediately. That means benefits can be reduced or suspended in the middle of the year instead of months later. For retirees living paycheck to paycheck, that sudden change in cash flow can be devastating. A senior who planned their budget around receiving both a small paycheck and a Social Security deposit may suddenly find one of those income sources cut off with little warning. The second group facing new complications is widows and widowers who receive survivor benefits. Many people do not realize how sensitive these benefits are to changes in marital status. If a surviving spouse remarries before a certain age, eligibility for survivor benefits can end. In the past, the SSA relied mostly on beneficiaries to report remarriages. Some reported immediately, others delayed, and some simply did not understand the requirement. Now, with access to state marriage records and other databases, Social Security can discover a remarriage almost instantly. If there is any gap between the date of the marriage and the date it was officially reported, the SSA may assume benefits were received improperly during that period. That can lead to large overpayment demands, even in situations where the beneficiary believed they followed the rules correctly. The third and most vulnerable group is seniors receiving Supplemental Security Income, commonly known as SSI. SSI is different from regular Social Security retirement benefits because it is based on financial need and strict income and asset limits. Even small changes, such as receiving help from a family member or having a few extra dollars in a bank account, can affect eligibility. Under the new data matching system, those changes will be detected almost immediately. For low-income seniors who rely on SSI to survive, a sudden suspension of benefits because of an automated flag can create an immediate financial crisis. Working retirees, surviving spouses, SSI recipients. These three groups are likely to experience the most frequent notices, the most questions, and the greatest risk of interrupted payments. But the truth is that no beneficiary is completely untouched by these changes. So, anyone with even a slightly complicated life situation now needs to be more careful and more organized than ever before. To understand how serious this can become, it helps to look at what is already happening in the early days of this new system. Picture a 68-year-old retiree who has received her Social Security deposit like clockwork for years. She checks her bank account this morning and finds the payment missing. After waiting on hold with the SSA for hours, she learns that an electronic verification notice was sent to an old email address she barely uses. Because she never responded within 30 days, her benefits were automatically suspended. Now she must go through a reinstatement process that could take weeks, all while rent and bills are still due. Or consider a 64-year-old man who took early retirement but continues to work a few hours a week. Under the old system, he kept careful records and expected any earnings issue to be settled the following year. Instead, he receives notice that his benefits are being stopped immediately because SSA data shows he earned more than allowed last quarter. The problem is that the figure includes a one-time payment he believes should not count. Now he must fight to prove his case while his monthly income disappears. Or think about a 72-year-old widow who remarried last year. She contacted Social Security to report the change and believed everything was handled properly. Today she receives a letter stating she was overpaid thousands of dollars because the remarriage was never correctly recorded in the system. Even though she did what she thought was required, the burden is now on her to prove it. These are not rare or unusual situations. They are exactly the types of problems that become more common when a large government program shifts from a human-centered system to an automated, data-driven one. Computers do not understand context. They do not recognize honest mistakes. They simply compare numbers and generate actions based on programmed rules. And when those automated actions involve suspending a senior's primary source of income, the consequences are very real. The purpose of sharing these examples is not to create panic. It is to show how important attention and preparation have become under this new system. A missed message, a misunderstood rule, a small reporting delay, any one of these can now snowball into a major financial headache. That is why knowing exactly what steps to take starting today is so important. I'll walk you through the practical actions every Social Security recipient should take right now to protect their benefits and avoid becoming the next person caught off guard by these changes. If you are currently receiving Social Security benefits or expect to apply soon, there are several important steps you should take immediately to protect yourself under this new system. The first and most urgent step is to create or update your online My Social Security account through the official website of the Social Security Administration. This account is now the central hub for almost all communication with the SSA. If you do not already have one, set it up as soon as possible. If you already have an account but haven't logged in recently, access it today and make sure everything inside is accurate and up to date. The most important detail to check is your email address. Because so many notices will now be delivered electronically, the email on file must be one you actually use and check regularly. If the address listed is old, rarely monitored, or shared with someone else, update it immediately. Legal challenges were filed, but federal courts ultimately allowed the rule to move forward, affirming that the SSA has broad authority to set administrative procedures. From the government's perspective, the new system improves efficiency and accuracy. From many seniors' perspective, it introduces added pressure at a stage of life when stability matters most. Even with the new rule in place, beneficiaries still have rights. If your benefits are reduced, suspended, or questioned, you are not required to simply accept the decision. You have the right to challenge it. The first step is a request for reconsideration. Another SSA employee, someone not involved in the original decision, will review your case and the information you provide. If that does not resolve the issue, you can request a formal hearing before an administrative law judge. At that hearing, you may present documents, explain your situation, and provide evidence. If the decision remains unfavorable, further appeals are available, including review by the Social Security Appeals Council and, if necessary, federal court. You also have the right to representation. You may hire an attorney or use a qualified non-attorney representative to help prepare your case and communicate with Social Security. If you are facing serious financial hardship due to suspended benefits, you may request expedited processing or temporary payments while your case is reviewed. An automated notice is not the final word. Mistakes happen. Databases contain errors. Information can be misinterpreted. Under this new system, problems may arise more quickly, but your legal protections remain in place. Stepping back, these changes are part of a broader shift across federal benefit programs toward automation, digital communication, and continuous data monitoring. Programs such as Medicare, Medicaid, and Veterans Benefits are adopting similar tools to detect fraud and verify eligibility. From an administrative standpoint, these systems promise efficiency and cost savings. But automation does not understand personal circumstances. It does not recognize hospital stays, caregiving duties, or memory challenges. It follows rules. Under the old approach, many seniors interacted with Social Security only occasionally and often with direct assistance from human staff. For retirees who are organized, technologically comfortable, and have straightforward finances, the transition may be smooth. For others, the risks are higher. A missed email, an overlooked message, a misunderstood form. Each can trigger serious consequences. As we close, here are the most important takeaways. Starting now, Social Security operates under a new structure. Annual benefit verification, electronic first communication, expanded automated data matching. Your benefits are still yours. But protecting them now requires greater attention than ever before. Check your account regularly. Keep contact information updated. Respond quickly to verification requests. Report life changes immediately. Never ignore an electronic notice. Staying organized and proactive is your best defense against interruptions. These rules may feel overwhelming at first, but with awareness and preparation, you can navigate them successfully. Stay informed, stay prepared, and stay in control of the benefits you worked a lifetime to earn.